We see other countries that get this right a lot faster than us, but we still got here. Okay, so what was the year we won Olympics in hockey? Remember? 1980. 1980.
You talking about Miracle?
Miracle.
Yeah.
Yes. Miracle actually started for us, and this was way too late, long-term athlete development. And then what they took was an approach to train not the best athletes, but the athletes that wanted to come together as a common goal to work really hard and work really smart in how they train their bodies. Okay? We adopted this from the Russians. What? This is incredible. Okay? Then the Canadians adopted it. Then we decided, oh, what we're doing needs to happen. Absolutely. And it does. Long-term athlete development. And the way we treat LTAD is we look at the human being first. How old are you, Caden?
14.
Are you 17? No. So we can't treat you like a 17-year-old. The challenge that we see with most of the high schools and some of the middle schools even in training is they treat everyone the same. Okay? An 18-year-old stands next to a 12-year-old and they do the same work.
Right.
That's a problem. And it's everywhere. So when we talk about long-term athlete development there's hormones that are starting to spike. Maybe not at 11 though. Okay, there's some things that are starting to spike at 18, and we have to approach it in the light of each individual human being. Okay, so we look at where they're at developmentally, as well as in their current age that they're at. Okay, and we see different trends, and it happens differently throughout the years. Okay, so we look at that, and we approach the lens of long-term athlete development as kind of in this train to train age, or kind of almost even a learn to train. If they haven't experienced training in any environment so far, right? So you talked about learning a lot in training. Absolutely, we teach. Okay, so that there can be when you're ready and you're physically ready to develop a little bit faster, it's going to take off. Okay, so when we teach, it's to go through the phases of developing. Okay, so does that make sense, you guys? Yes? All right. So the other approach that we take along with this model is focusing on foundational principles to developing human beings. Okay? I could train each of you guys and approach the same model and get incredible results. Okay? Because it all applies. So one of the things when we train athletes here, we start with the ground and work our way up. Okay? So we do this by assessing where each athlete is at individually, like I just talked about. So we will go through an assessment. We look at, what's our mobility like? How is our stability? Okay? These are foundational principles you have to have before you move well as an athlete. Okay? So the foundation, okay, it doesn't get a lot of credit. Can you see your home's foundation? No, it's covered. Okay? You don't see it. Right? But it's beautiful because it holds the whole home up. Just like your body. Okay? So if your body, okay, is treated like this foundation is, it would behoove us to focus our attention on this aspect right here, which is movement. Okay? Movement is so key. If you want to be the best athlete you can be, you start with this. There's 3 concepts within this realm of movement. We have mobility, I'm just going to abbreviate, stability, and motor control. Okay, all very fascinating concepts we don't have time to get into today, but that sets the foundation to the successful athlete. Okay, again, keep in mind, we assess you for where you're at in these 3 categories. Okay, like if I'm assessing Michael, who's played at the highest level in athletics, his motor control, which would probably be this ability, I can randomly throw a pen. Oh, how did he reach his hand out and catch?
Somebody doesn't get like that.
Okay, he has, boom. Okay?
Expecting you to start juggling it.
Yeah, why'd you use your hands? Yeah.
Handball. You know, I was a bully before.
There it is.
I was a
The
goalie
roots.
before.
Anyhow, so these are all such key components. We look at all of them. Okay. What it does is it sets the stage for our next phase in our training, which is also incredibly important, strength. Okay? There's so many different things that go in this realm we don't have time to talk about. But it gives way to then expressing power. Oh my gosh. Okay? We don't need to get into the terminology right now, but let's take, what do you call it? Yeah. A shot. It's not a slap shot. That's hockey. We're done talking about hockey. Okay? It takes power from the ground to rotate our hips to go and move the ball as fast as we can, right? You can't express as much power if you don't have an ability to express strength. Okay? Everyone comes to Gritworks and they want to get faster. They want speed. You think you're going to have incredible speed if your movement is terrible. No, you're not. Okay? Does this start to make sense? Okay, the cherry on top is the most incredible thing when all of this is married together is your skill. So you're telling me you do all of these camps and all these different showcases and everything, and it's all focused on skill, but the most important aspects happen here. We're doing it all wrong. Okay? Long term, we focus on these, and wow, my skill starts to improve. That's what we want to do. We want to develop you guys as athletes that focus on these characteristics. Movement, moving to the strength, power, speed. Wow, now I'm on the field and I'm killing it. That's awesome. I think we could all agree that we want this. Okay? But it starts with some of the things, maybe they're not as cool. Maybe it's not as pretty. But it'll break you down so to build you up, you can gain the skill. So our approach is so comprehensive as we look at each individual, and we have to do that in its appropriate light. And we've learned a lot of things through the years, looking at different countries and different team environments, and we want to be able to do that for you guys as a group here, and also for you to build serious confidence. So when you step out on the field, you're locked in. You're like, I can do this. Maybe they're 6'5" and bigger than you, maybe a little faster, but you have the ability that you've worked really hard for something, and this is why we do what we do. And so I mean, you see work on the training floor. They're working on a lot of different things that are very specific to each individual that's out here. Okay, so our training environment, like Michael just talked about, is for each individual to succeed. Okay, and we won't put you in positions that you are going to feel super duper inadequate. Okay, I always like the idea of a goal being like right here, so I have to a little more reach. Okay, I'm not going to go and try to get a goal that's so far away. Okay, and Forrest, he has this saying that we've adopted here at Gritworks is 1% better every day. You step in, and it's over time, a long time, but those 1% add up. Okay, and that's what we're all about. It's long term. Okay, it's not a microwave. We're not just gonna hit the zap button and be like, boom, I can jump 30 inches now. No, it doesn't. It takes time. That's the whole approach to long-term athlete development. Okay, it's a long time and it's consistency in our training. Okay?
And Steven, the one thing we want to say, it creates a lifelong commitment to this sport in connection to being athletic and whatever level you're going to end up at. So it's high school,
Absolutely.
College, rec, adult, or coaching at some point
100%.
when you're too old to be on the field. But yeah.
You got it. So I don't know if you guys have any questions immediately about training, but we got, this is kind of scratching the surface, but we over there you'll see binders that we have, a way to house questionnaires about how they're sleeping at home, what kind of food they're eating, if they're sore. There's some misconceptions about soreness, how to recover. It's just so much about what we do. And then if we see red flags that kids write in, we're reading them, and maybe talk to the parents and say, what's going on?
Can you get a little bit more on the evaluation process a little bit?
The evaluation?
Yeah. Touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah, so when we do evaluations for an athlete, we start with goal setting. So you'd go through and write down your goals. It can be lofty, it can be very much right in front of you, ready to be reached. We do a body composition test where we see the in-body, where we look at skeletal muscle mass, how much mass we have on our body, how much fat we have on our body. Okay, fat slows us down. Fat don't fly. That's for real. Okay? We go through that, we do some different body measurements, and then we go into our functional movement screen. We use a tool that we assess with a numerical value, that's right, somewhat of that, to your movement patterns, okay? Because if patterns are bad, we're gonna have to create good patterns to move forward, okay? We wouldn't wanna load a heavy squat if your squat pattern body weight isn't good, okay? So we put points to that, and it gives us a baseline to then see what change happens after 3 months, right? So like you guys start, we'll test you, and then in another 3 months we'll test you again and see exactly what's changed. So then we go into the training floor, we do a good warm up, and then we go into our different performance tests. So we express power through vertical jump and broad jump. We do a 5-10-5 shuttle, 10-yard sprint. We do a few different strength tests. We do a conditioning test, all to see kind of where each of you guys are at. So that's kind of the evaluation. We then take some video and then we kind of assess as coaches what best should be presented in the way of a program from what we saw in that environment. So that's kind of what the evaluation for us is, and it's very in depth. And for us, we're really heavy into the science realm for us, but it's how can we dumb it down to where it makes sense to you guys, okay? We spend lots of time in the books so that we know what to do best for each of you guys. You guys have any other questions? No? You guys have any questions? Dana, you got a question?
No.
No? Great. Frost, you got anything you want to add?
I'm gonna say, like, we like to think of performance. You think of it as like a stool. There's 4 legs. You have your biomechanics in your sport, how you move. Are you efficient with how you shoot? Your functional strength. Your sport specific strength is another leg. Your nutrition and sleep, so your recovery is another leg, and the 4th leg is mental emotional. If you lose a leg, it's going to get wobbly, but you can probably still go out and do it. If you lose 2 legs, you're going to fall down. You're not going to be able to do it. And as a facility here, we're always trying to mentor and give information on all 4 of those legs so that athletes can use it, take the initiative, and go do it on their own. We always try to encourage the athletes to take what we're showing them and go do it at home. Some of these, the movement side of it, if we're doing a corrective exercise, the athlete's going to be in here doing it maybe like 10 reps when they're in here, right? For an hour, twice a week. That's not enough, There's way more hours than that in a week. How many hours are in a week, 168, I think.
Not enough.
Could be wrong. Right? But
Waking hours or just total hours?
oh, total hours.
Yeah.
Total. Waking hours is a little bit lower. But I like to use the higher one to paint the picture, you know what I mean? So doing stuff on your own is going to be important too, so that you can see maximum benefit from it. Showing you guys how to use your bodies and use strength conditioning as a tool for you is a lifelong thing. It's not just in your sport. We want you guys to exercise for the rest of your life, because that's going to make a big impact on your guys' health. Kind of my 2
Love it. Any other questions you guys have? Awesome. This is wonderful for you guys to show up, and we're excited to come alongside you guys and help you realize your potential. Yeah. And just let us know when we're ready to rock.
Any question from you, Jared?
Yeah, maybe touch a little bit based on like the schedule, like how many times a week. Talk about some of the stuff that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So, kind of what we were talking through is we already have established classes. So we have a junior grit class and an elite grit. And the junior grit we were talking is more of our middle school age kids, and then our elite grit is more of our high school age kids. And those run in the way of junior grit at 5:15 to 6:15 Monday through Friday.